Imagine a Tuesday afternoon. The world is humming with the sound of transactions. Milionze per secondo. Then a digital silence. The numbers on every screen on Earth flicker and vanish. In this exact second, the concept of value has been erased from human consciousness. You are at a checkout counter. Your card is declined. The person behind you tries theirs. It fails too. The cashier looks at the register. It's not a connection error. The currency fields are simply empty. People check their phones. Banking apps show no accounts found. No history. No debt. No savings. At first, there is laughter. Nervous jokes about a glitch. But as the minutes pass, the silence turns into a cold, biting dread. In the skyscraper boardrooms, CEOs stare at monitors. Their net worth, which was billions just moments ago, is now indistinguishable from the janitors. The stock market tickers stop. The red and green lights that govern the world's pulse are gray. For the first time in 3,000 years, humanity is standing in a void where trust used to be. First night is the quietest in history. No one is buying and no one is selling. By the next morning, the reality sets in. The grocery store. Whoa, you unopened because the employees. Whoa, you on work for nothing. The truck driver hauling 20 tons of wheat pulls over. Why? Burn fuel he can't replace to deliver food he won't be paid for. This is the collapse of the just-in-time world. Most cities only have 3 days of food. Governments try to broadcast messages of calm, but how do you pay a soldier to keep order? When the paycheck is a ghost. Police officers face a choice: stay at their posts for the public good, or go home to guard their own families. Communication begins to fail. Data centers require maintenance and power plants require fuel and staff. Without the incentive of money, the complex gears of civilization begin to grind against each other. Chaos erupts in the cities. Looting isn't about greed anymore. It's about the sudden realization that the supermarket is a museum of things that won't be restocked. The great stagnation has begun. The world hasn't ended, but the rules have. By day 10, the migration begins. The cities, once monuments to wealth, become concrete traps. People start walking toward the countryside. They are looking for the only thing that has value now: calories. A gold watch is now less valuable than a can of peach. A diamond ring cannot be traded for a gallon of clean water. We see the birth of the new barter. It is clumsy and difficult. You have a laptop, but no electricity. Your neighbor has a chicken, but needs a warm coat. Negotiations take hours. Without a common denominator like money, every trade is a personal battle of needs. The professional class, the lawyers, the consultants, the bankers finds itself at the bottom of the social ladder. The doers rise. The carpenter, the gardener, the nurse, and the mechanic become the new elite. Their wealth is their ability to fix, grow, or heal. Community councils form in small towns. They don't use money, they use social credit. The trust you build by helping others. Six months in, and the global map has shattered into thousands of tiny islands of survival. International travel is a memory. Without a global payment system for fuel and parts, airplanes are just giant metal sculptures. The internet is a ghost. Most servers have gone dark. Knowledge is returning to physical books. We realize how much of our innovation was actually speculation. Large-scale manufacturing stops. We go! And build a smartphone when the 200 components come from 20 different countries that no longer talk to each other. But something strange happens. The air is cleaner. The constant stress of earning has been replaced by the stress of living. Families are forced together You no longer work 60 hours a week for a boss. You hate to buy things. You do a need. However, the cost is high. Modern medicine is running out. Without a global supply chain, a simple infection becomes a death sentence again. The global village has become a series of fortified camps. Security becomes the new currency. People trade their labor for the protection of those who have the tools of force. A year has passed. Human nature cannot live in a vacuum. We begin to invent money 2.0. It starts with commodities in one region. People use salt. In another, they use ammunition or standardized bags of grain. We are relearning the history of our ancestors, but this new money is heavy. It's hard to transport. It limits trade to local borders. We see the first attempts at paper promises, handwritten notes from a trusted farmer promising a harvest. This is the rebirth of credit. But this time, it is personal. If you break your word, you don't lose a credit score. You lose your life or your place in the community. The massive inequality of the past is gone. But so is the massive luxury. There are no more Ferraris, but there is more shared bread. The world is slower. Information travels at the speed of a horse or a bicycle. We have traded global growth for local stability. Looking back, we realize that money was never the root of all evil, nor was it the savior of mankind. Money was simply a language of cooperation. It allowed strangers to work together across oceans. Without that language, we became strangers again. But we also learned that we are more than our bank accounts. We discovered that when the screens go black, the person standing next to you is more important than the number on your phone. The world without money isn't a paradise. And it isn't just a waste. Landet is a mirror. It shows us exactly who we are when we have nothing to hide behind. If money returned tomorrow, would we go back to the way things were? Or have we learned that the most valuable things on earth, breath, touch, and community were had a price tag to begin with? The money vanished, but the world remained, and in the end, we found a way to survive.